sure before you even start uploading contacts that everything's set up in your profile the way it needs to be. So like me, I have my title in here. I don't have an MLS ID because I'm on an assistant account, but that is something that you definitely want to double check that's in there. If it's not in there, just go to edit to your profile and you want to put your MLS ID in there. And I check that for agents as well, but if it's not in there, if you were to get a new listing, the system, we automatically pay for property boost through KV Core that they'll boost your listing for you if it's over $100,000. So if you have your MLS ID number in there, that's what they go off of. And those leads will come straight to your CRM. So good to know if you don't know that we pay for that for you. It's a 3-day Facebook ad that KV Core does. But they have to have your MLS ID number in there in order to start that ad and start sending you leads. And Pam, I did check that yours is in there, so yours should be good. Making sure your cell phone's in there. This is what KV Core is going to use as the number to connect you with leads. Of course, you know, when you call a lead that's in the system from KV Core, it's going to be using our Office Smart number, the 457-8667. That number is first going to call your cell whenever you call someone and then connect you with the lead. So the caller ID is going to show up as the Office Smart number. Kind of a mental note there. Same with work phone. This is all stuff that will correlate to your website. If you check showing my website, make sure your email's in there. If you haven't set up your email with KV Core, definitely want to make sure to do that up here in the little email icon. So you want to make sure to connect a Google Mail account. What this is going to do is going to sync your email with the system itself. I don't know how mine got wiped somehow, but it's good because I can show you how to connect it again. So you're going to want to choose your work account, and it's going to ask if it can have access to all of your Google files there and docs. The reason they ask that is if you integrate your calendar with a system, KV Core is really cool with, you know, if you set up a task for yourself in the system, it will also show up on your calendar. So kind of a double up there. So if you allow all this, everything will kind of sync together and it will allow you to send emails to and from the system. And y'all feel free to interrupt me at any time if you have any questions, because I know I kind of go through a couple different things here. So the profile is the main step. So kind of went through the basics there, but if you haven't uploaded your bio in here about me, just go in there and definitely put in your bio. That of course will correlate to your website as well. You know, your website is right here underneath the drop down, your email drop down. So if you want to check out your website, you can click on it there. But anything that you put under your profile will show on your website. You can pull that up just to show you guys what that looks like. So keep in mind, KV Core is kind of like the back end to your website. So I don't have mine set up like an agent because I'm not on the website, but when you set up your bio, it will show up here, get to know, you know, Allison Rain, Shaniqua, Amy, and then it will have your bio and then anything else about yourself that you want to mention. You can edit your website by going to Web and IDX. We'll get into that in more detail. But the first thing I think I want to do is go over how to actually get contacts in the system. If you haven't uploaded any contacts yet, that's definitely a good idea to go ahead and get your sphere in there and actually have people in your database under the correct, you know, status, category, new lead, active lead. That way you can differentiate who you're working with, who you want to work with, who's new, and of course you can keep going from there. So to add a contact manually, of course this is the slow way to do it, but to add maybe, you know, a friend of yours or Facebook friend, you just hit add contact under Smart CRM. Another way to do it, you can also go up here under quick actions and add contact. That's always going to be on your top toolbar there, but under Smart CRM, if you hit add contact, you just put the first name in, last name, email, cell phone, and we will just set up a test one for now just to kind of show you guys what it looks like when you go through that. Do Sally test at Sally@WeichertUnlimited.com. We'll do the office number. We're going to do email permission. You do have to check these off so the system knows that you're allowed to email, call, and text. They just want you to verify that you are responsible to ensure that you have permission to contact this person via the methods here. Then you want to choose what lead type they are. This is important, you know, with the categories, you know, the lead type is you want to make sure that you have any potential buyer in a buyer category, or same with if they're a seller, you want them in the seller category. You can pick buyer and seller both, or all the above, but you do kind of want to organize that part of it. Lead status. So if they are a brand new lead, if you haven't even spoken with them before, you put them in as new lead. If they are somebody that you've talked to in the past or you're actively working with, they're going to be active. New lead and prospect are essentially the same thing. KV Core differentiates the two to talk about prospect being somebody that you're working to convert into a lead, and new lead is technically somebody who came in through your website or came in by signing up on under you, so they came to you that way. But prospect is somebody that you want to get in touch with, so that would be like seller, like expired leads for sell by owners, but most of the time you're just going to put them in as a new lead. That way you know that they are brand new. And then the source, I think that is an important feature too, to make sure that you're putting the correct source on your leads. That way you know where they came from, if it was from door knocking, if it was from a property boost, if it was from a FSBO, something like that. If you just want to leave them under manual entry, it will automatically default to manual add. Lead owner. So lead owner, that is something that's specific to me. I think it's company admin. So if I was an agent as well, I would put them under myself. But company just means that the company is able to access those leads as well. But you should just, under lead owner, you would just have yourself. All that means is that when you put your personal sphere in or any of your personal leads, we're not able to access those leads. So that's your leads. We, Aaron or myself, we can't even see them if you have your lead privacy on. Select a campaign. So you do want to make sure that you're not putting on any campaign before you know what kind of campaign you're putting your leads on. What a campaign is, a smart campaign is just automatic communication from the system that's set up to go to your client. And we'll look into that in more detail here in a second. But that is what smart campaigns are. So I would leave that blank, and then any kind of notes you want to put in here, you can put on 7/15/2020. So I think notes are really important to put in there. You can put more in once you input the contact, but that kind of tells you, where that lead came from, because you will get more leads and it's easy to get them mixed up here. So once you do add contact, this lead is going to be added to your system here. So you do have to refresh your screen once you put it in, and you'll see each lead in your system has a caller ID up here in the toolbar. The timeline of the contact, it will default once you click on a lead's name to go to the timeline. You can see here the contact is going to be automatically assigned to you when you put it in manually, and then you can see the note that you put on there. You always want to make sure, especially with a sphere, that all of these are turned off. You can tell if they have a campaign on. If they have a little green check mark here, that means they have a campaign. And when you hit the drop down, you'll see one there. All the little red strike throughs mean there's no automatic communication going off, which is what we want for a brand new lead, unless you have a campaign that's set up the way you want it, which we will get into that as well. I think it's good, especially with people that came in through your website, to add them on a search alert. Essentially what a search alert is a search just like on the MLS, property search. They have market reports on here as well, but you can go through if you want to add them on a search alert. You'll need to go and edit it, actually. So listing type, so it will give you the option to do, what type of search you want to do. If you want to do a single family, keywords is pretty specific. So if you're interested in maybe a certain subdivision, you can add as many keywords as you want, but you actually do have to start typing it in the system. So like they have different options for you. Let me see, subdivision pops up. But I recommend, if it's really specific, to go with the MLS, because the MLS can create a better search for you. But if you're just interested in getting the lead's attention and really feeding them with properties, go with this. And we'll revisit the keywords. But same with options. If they are just looking for just listed properties or open houses, adult 55 plus, they do have those options in here. But just keep in mind that's going to narrow down your search a good bit. Areas, so that's where you put in Buncombe County or whatever counties you want to do. With KV Core, you either have to hit enter to select it, or just with your mouse just click on it. So once you add that area, it's in there. You can add as many areas as you want, but the more you put in, the more it will narrow down. Bedrooms, so they go all the way up to 7+, so we want to do 2+ for each bedroom, bathroom. Price range, so we want to look at between 100 and 250. A tough price range there. Square footage, you can put the square footage in there. They have the minimum, maximum, year built, frequency. That's going to be important if somebody's wanting to get notified of properties as soon as they hit the market. You're going to want to make sure that's on ASAP. If they are not too motivated and they just want to keep an eye out for anything that's popping up, you could do twice weekly, once weekly, twice a month, monthly. We'll just do daily for this example. The email CC, so if there's an option to put like a spouse info in here or another partner in the system, but if you want to copy anyone else that wants to be on the search, just put their email in the CC address. If they want a completely different search, then I would set up a separate account for that person. But there is a way to kind of merge the two, which we can get more into. But if you want somebody copied on the search, just put their email in there. Once you're ready to get going here, just do save and send. That automatically sends it to the contact here, the searches that came up in your categories. So if you want to see the results that came, it shows up the summary here, so you can just hit see all, and that will pull up another link here to your website. It goes directly to your contact, so it will go to the email that you put in the system. No, I mean, the goal is, like you said, you're talking about buyer agency, like getting buyer agency. You obviously want to get buyer agency, but this is more like lead generation for you. So this is cool because it's automatic. It's a search that's going out, especially people that register on your website. You want to get them on a search because it's going to look like it's coming from you every day or every couple hours, whatever frequency you set it up on. But the point of KB Core is to get you more leads, get you clients, and say, you do start working with them, they're ready to sign buyer agency, you have a consultation with them, then you can go back here, change them from new lead to client. So yeah, good question. But yeah, KB Core, the point of it is to lead conversion. So yeah, once you click on that, if you want to see the results, you can just click on the link there and it pulls up. You can see this is going to my website because it was under my account. So all that's generated, but this is exactly what they're going to see. They're going to see all the little yellow dots on the map are the properties that come up, plus they can see them in the right-hand side. And if they want to look on more details, they just click on the actual listing. But there's 36 in Buncombe County with the criteria that we chose. And then another thing you want to keep in mind with KB Core, so we can see now we've set up the search alert, it's active. So we're going to go back to their timeline. If we need to go back to search alerts, you can hit alerts here or go back to timeline. It's also right here. But we can see that is checked on, so we know they're getting automatic search alerts. Now they can unsubscribe at any time just by hitting unsubscribe to your emails that are coming through. But you do want to keep in mind if it's your sphere, if it's somebody that you don't want getting the automated behavioral automation, you can turn that off over here. Turn off behavioral alerts. And I'll show you guys kind of more detail what that is. But pretty much if you turn that off, say you don't want this lead to receive like a text when they're looking at a property. Say I'm the contact and I look at this property more than twice. The system sends out a text message saying, hi, I noticed you looked at 28 Elena Chase Drive, a couple times on my website. Did you have any questions? So it does stuff like that for you automatically, which can be super beneficial if you don't know the person and it's a new lead and you're trying to convert them. But a lot of people don't want that on for their sphere, which makes sense. So just keep in mind you can turn that off for individual people here, doing turn off behavioral alerts. So we'll jump out of here real quick. I'm going to go over to the automation because I know that's where the value is. Plus, you want to make sure before you start using the system that everything's kind of set up the way you want it. So it's under marketing autopilot. You can look at behavioral automation, in more detail. So that is here under marketing autopilot, under behavioral automation. If you hit learn more, So this kind of shows you the behavioral automation and what it is. And then it has, if these leads are toggled on, the contact types are toggled on, that means anybody in your system that you haven't shut off manually is going to be subscribed to that behavioral automation. So here my sphere is, my new leads are, prospect, active lead, and then clients are not, contracts are not, closed, and archives are not. So I would go in here and maybe turn off your sphere. That way if your mom or your cousin or something goes on your website, they're not getting text messages from you like, hey, so-and-so, thank you for checking out such and such property. So kind of keep that in mind. But you can see the actual messages that KV Core has set up to go out. So these activities are what triggers certain messages. So if a lead revisits a property after 14 days, they'll get an email that looks like this. I'm glad you're able to spend a bit of time on my site again. It looks like you're doing a few different home searches. Anything specific you're looking for. So it is beneficial to you, like I said, if you don't know the person and it's a new lead and you want to convert them, but I would turn that off for your sphere if you haven't done that. So I'm going to kind of pause. Any questions so far on any of that? Any guys? Okay. So that's the behavioral automation part. But then again, I want to go back to marketing autopilot and show you kind of what I think is the most valuable from KV Core is going to be your smart campaigns. Like I said, when you're putting a lead in manually from the system, I would go ahead and put them in not under a campaign. That way you just make sure that they're not getting put on anything you don't want. But I would actually go into start a campaign under marketing autopilot. And KV Core has a whole library for you can choose from. Plus I've also set up some on the company level that you can go in and actually clone yourself and customize. I think it's a good idea to have like an agent profile campaign. So like you put a lead into the system, you want them to automatically receive your bio and stuff like that. This is where you're gonna do that. So just for training purposes here, I kind of set up a template campaign under company. So if you guys are logged in, which y'all are taking notes, which is totally fine, but kind of make a note if you want to go in here under campaign library, and this will automatically default for you. I just have to choose it because I'm company admin, but it should have view as Shaniqua or view as Pam. So that's showing what campaigns you have. So when I do company level, these are all the campaigns that are available to you as a company. Each agent within the firm has access to these. There's some that I've set up, on a company level for our company appointments, so you don't need to worry about that. But definitely you can check out the open house campaign that we have. We have a loan information campaign from Kristen, which is really good for people that need pre-approval or want to get some pre-approval information for loans. Just browsing campaign is really good. I set up, like I said this morning, I set up an agent profile introduction campaign. So we're going to look at that. It's blank right now. The reason being I wanted to show you guys actually how to go in and set up your own campaign. So if you go back at the page before, if you have that on a company scope and then you choose agent profile introduction campaign, you guys actually have the option to clone this. So what this does is it's going to make your own replicated version of this campaign where you can go in and add your own email templates, text templates, and it's completely yours. So just for training, we'll go ahead and do that. So say I want to add this for myself, it should automatically default to you. Start triggers are really important with campaigns. I like to, unless I definitely want a campaign to trigger for a certain category, I like to just bypass this. So what this means when you hit I do not want to start trigger, all this is going to do is, you actually have to go into the contacts and assign the campaign manually. This campaign isn't going to automatically start for your new leads or transferred or moved to hashtags. But like I said, if you know that you want all of your new leads to be assigned this agent profile introduction campaign, then you would do lead as new. But for this sake, I recommend just doing the I do not want to start trigger, and then we can go through and assign each contact or mass assign to this campaign. So once you do that, it's going to take you to another step, just design for. For this one, I just put all. This would be like what target category you want this campaign to be for. So I just put all in this case. That way you can assign this campaign to any type of lead you have in your system. Same thing, set details. So if you want to rename this to your campaign, just rename it. It will default to what I had in there before. Campaign created by Allison for agents to clone and input their own info. So always run just means if you have that on, if you have another campaign that's triggered for another reason, then this campaign will go off. So if you have that always run no, I'm sorry, I think that's reversed. So always run, if it's on no to always run, that means that it will not continue to run if another campaign is turned on. Does that make sense? So I can get into more detail about that, but the always run, it's pretty much more for the company admin, so I wouldn't worry about it, but I would always leave always run on no. That way, if you have somebody that you put in the contract status or client status, that this campaign is automatically turning off for you. That way they're not continuing to get your information. Same with locked, I'll just leave that on no. So we're going to go to next. So it's going to show you kind of the gist of your campaign here. If you're happy with that, just go ahead and clone it. So there are no campaign actions in here, which I prefer just to go in here and add my own, email templates and text templates. So you guys can clone another one if you want, or just start from this one. But for the training, we're just going to go ahead and set it up the way we want. So before we even add any actions in here, we want to go ahead and set up our templates. So we're going to jump over to templates, and we're going to add a couple email templates here. And Pam, I'm going to use you as an example, if that's okay, like your bio. So yep, Amy, Pam's in the office with us, and we're going to pretend that this is her campaign, and we're going to put her bio in here and kind of her information, and then you can have access to that as well. So to add a new email template, you're just going to go to, sorry, Shaniqua, did you have a question? Sorry, yeah, it's a little echoey. So we got some weird noises going on here. Okay, so we're going to do email template. So to set up a brand new email template, you're going to go in here and you want to give it a name. I usually, to keep it less confusing, I do the name the same as the subject. That's just for searching. In an email template, that will be the name that you search under. So we'll just put intro. Subject. The subject of an email will be, what people see in the subject line. So we would probably want this to be something like reaching with information for you, or whatever you feel is appropriate to go out to people, automatically. But I think it's a good idea to maybe start out saying, hi there, and you can actually put a merge tag in here, insert merge tag with the lead's first name. That way anybody in your system, it's going to pull their first name into that email for you, which is kind of cool. You usually do a comma, go down, so you can add that merge tag. Keep in mind you can do a lot of different merge tags. You could, do a merge tag in here with your information, do your agent email signature. That's, again, you would set that up in your profile, but merge tags are going to be really beneficial for you. So if you can get these emails set up now and put them into a campaign, you wouldn't have to do it in the future. So that's why I recommend doing it kind of first off when you're starting in KV Core. So I'm gonna pull up Pam's bio in another folder here, and I'm gonna copy and paste what's in her bio. I don't think you can see this, Amy, but I'm just gonna pull up Pam's bio in Microsoft Word and copy that, and I'm just gonna pull the text straight into that email. So let's see here. And y'all feel free to interrupt me with questions, because I know I kind of go through the gist of everything, but do want to make sure I'm not just rattling up here. My computer, it's got too much going on. It doesn't want to cooperate with me. Some water. Okay, so here's Pam's lovely bio. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the text here. We're just copying that. We're going to jump back over to KV Core, and we will paste its plain text. So it's kind of cool. You can just paste that in there in an email template. And there it is. So I would just say, hi there, first name. I wanted to introduce myself. Like that. That would obviously be for like a new lead. So you don't even have to put that in there, but you could just be like, I wanted to introduce myself. If you're targeting, people that signed up on your website, you could do that. If you just wanted a good intro email, that would be pretty, diverse for every situation that you have. you know, you could do that as well. I wanted to introduce myself, and then have your bio below. But obviously you can customize that any way you want. And then I like to do at the bottom of emails, just make sure include signature. So there's a merge tag to do signature as well. But if you have your signature set up in your agent profile, just the same place where your bio goes and all that, just making sure your signature is signed, that would just be your name, your phone number, anything you want in your email signature. So that's like a example of a introduction email there. So once that is ready to go, sorry, did you have a question? Yeah, I'm going to share it with you so you have access to this, but I'll show you, you do have to actually manually go in and assign your contacts to the campaign, but we'll show you how to do that. But the first step is setting up the campaign, which is what we're doing. And I'm happy to do this for you too, Shaniqua. So I'm just using Pam as an example here. Yeah. Yeah, and it's good. And I mean, I think it's good to have it on your website, that way people can read it, and then you can have bits and pieces of it other places too. So whatever you want to put in your introduction email is totally fine. Once you're ready to do that, just remember the name that you named it. That way you can go back and find it. So it's named Pam's Intro. So we're going to go ahead and add template. So that template's ready to go. We're going to jump back over to campaign library, and we're going to go back to our campaign. And the more campaigns you get, you can obviously search for them. We're just going to go down here. See ya. Go down here to our campaign. I have to refresh it since we just added it. Whenever you make a copy of a campaign too, just keep in mind it may take a second to come through. Y'all seeing this, or am I not? Oh, it's probably on the second page. Okay, so I have a lot of campaigns in here. So Allison's intro campaign. So we just set that up under my account here. So whenever you clone a campaign, just retitle it. That way you know the name. And keep in mind too, it's not going to be active until you toggle this on. All that means is it's not going to be available to you to use on your contacts. So we want to add the email template that we just saved. So we're going to go here and we're going to do add action in this campaign. In campaigns, it's cool because you can have tasks set up for yourself too as well within the campaign. But we want to go ahead and add that template. So I'm just going to name it the same as a template. We're going to do so all that is the name. It's not going to be the subject or anything. That's just going to be the name of the task. But we're not going to name that campaign because that's an email. So we're going to do email. Same thing. You got to remember the name that you set up the template to be under, and then just start searching for that. Pam's Intro, and it should pull up when you save it. And at any time, you can just view this template by toggling this on, and you can see exactly the email template that you set up. So pretty cool. It just pulls in Pam's bio here. And a cool thing too in KB Core, you can add a nice little picture of you in the email template. So if you're really wanting to get very detailed with that, we can do that as well. But that's just a basic, nice little email. So we always want it coming from agent to contact, which means that it's coming from you to the contact. And then run immediately, that would be sent out as soon as you assign the campaign. So the second that you assign the campaign, it would turn on. If you wanted it to wait maybe a minute or two, you could select minutes, select 1. Same with days. If you wanted to go out the day after, do that. So just making sure you have your details in here and set up the way you want it. If you're happy with that, go ahead and add it. So yeah, that's your step 1 in your campaign. Any questions on that process? Following me, Amy?
Sorry, I had to mute you so the kids wouldn't make noise, but yes, I'm watching.
Fine. You're good. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yep,
so,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so same with an email template. If you wanted to create a text template that say has a link to your website, or maybe just says, hey, just wanted to let you know you're on my website. I have you set up on a search. You would go to text message instead of email. Once you go to the text message category, you will see all of KB Core's template text messages. So instead of completely recreating your own, you can obviously clone what they have. Like they have a post call one, I think like the buyer first text is a good one. So you can go in here and clone that. Once you clone, you will see that you have the option to edit it. You don't have the option to edit it until you clone it. Does that make sense? So you have to clone it before you can edit. So once you clone like a certain type of template, you can go in here and edit it at any time. So this just says, thanks for coming to my website. I have some time to chat later today or tomorrow. Let me know when it's a good time to call. So you can always edit that and then, update template. Say you just wanted to set up one that was pretty basic. You do the same thing, just add template. It's going to be under SMS template. Same thing, we want to do Pam's instead of email. So say we want a text to go out as well as an email on the campaign. So we can just set this up. For some reason, in the email, they have the merge tags listed for you to choose from, but in the text message fields, you can put merge tags in there, but you have to go and copy and paste them in the email field. So maybe that's something that KB Core will change in the future, but for now, that's kind of the way they have it set up. So if you want a merge tag, you would just copy and paste it there. Something like that. Hi there, just sent you an email introducing myself. If I can type, happy with any of your needs, call or text anytime. You keep in mind, if you're texting from the system, it will come from the smart number. That's actually really good for you to keep track of the communication that's going out to your contacts. And I would just, when you're putting contacts into the system, in your email signature, have your phone number listed, but also have the smart number listed as like an alternate phone. So if one of your contacts adds you to their contacts, when you send them a text message or call them, it's always going to come up as you when you're texting or calling from the smart number. But you can add your cell phone in as an alternate number. But it's kind of cool because it's technically like your work number. But keep in mind, if somebody doesn't, if you have a contact that's not in your system, like your smart CRM, and you text them from the smart number, they will not, or I'm sorry, if they call the smart number, that will not go to you unless they are in your smart CRM. Does that make sense? So it's good, but you just have to kind of follow the smart number rules. Okay, any questions on any of that stuff? Okay, so we'll just add this same Pam's intro text. We're just going to add template. And I won't bore y'all with all the other details, but same thing. We're just going to go back to the campaign library, depending on how many different campaigns you have. You can go through here, but the most recent one I added is on page 2. So going back to the campaign again, we can see that it has an intro email in there already. So we just want to add a SMS task. The same thing, we're just going to name this Pam's intro text, or pull up that template. We can see that's a template that I just pulled up. And we'll just name this the same thing. And say we want this to run, what did we do the last one, a minute? Say we wanted it to run a day, or we could even do like, say we wanted a text to go out 1 hour from when we started the campaign, right? So we'll automatically default to agent to contact. We'll run in 1 hour. So we go ahead and add that. Say that we're happy with this, it's very basic, but it's a good start campaign. We want to go ahead and turn it on. We're going to toggle it on. So now what this is going to do, under my account, anybody that I put into the NiSmart CRM, this campaign is going to be available to me as a campaign to use. So I recommend just having a go-to campaign in your marketing autopilot here, just like with an email that has your bio on it and a text message maybe. Also another, detail, the more detail we get, you can go in here and always add like a link to your website on your email. So we can do that as well. But to kind of keep it basic, that's pretty much the basic email text templates there. So say we wanted to go ahead and add Sally to this intro campaign. We're going to go back to Smart CRM. We're going to pull Sally up here. Okay. See, she's on a search alert, but she needs to be on a campaign. That way we can keep in touch with her and let her know who Pam is. this case. So we're going to add campaign. Once you click on the campaign section and add campaign, you'll have a little drop down here, so you can choose from all the company campaigns and the ones you've set up yourself. So Allison's Enter campaign, we just turned it on, so it's available. And you have to add it before it's turned on. So we can see again that the little check mark is on. We just added it. So then you're going to see a little blue link pull up here, future touch points. So anything in that campaign that's set for the future is going to show up once you hit that. We can see July 15th at 2:53 p.m., which is today, in an hour. Sally's going to get a text, but not really, because that's the office number. But so in theory, you know, she would get a text in an hour with our intro text. You can see, let's see, the email too. I think it was sent immediately. We might have to refresh our screen to see the email. Did we set the email to go out? Let me look back real quick and see what we set the email for. Mm-hmm. They'll get the email one if you have the email, their email in there. They'll get the email template, but they would not receive any text messages or anything like that. But I think if you have an email, that's almost more valuable to me than a phone number, because they're getting like all of your emails, are seeing your information come through. A phone number is valuable too, but a lot of people, you know, they'll see your information too through email, because a lot of people still check their email. But yeah, does that answer your question? See what we put the email on here. Already forgot. Okay, we're gonna go back to the email. We have that going after 1 minute. So we're gonna go back. Yeah, I can show you how to add pictures to your email templates. They have an advanced email editor, which I really like, because it looks like a newsletter. It's a little bit more sleek and professional looking. So I can definitely show you guys that. Okay, so reaching out with information for you. I may have overlooked that before, but that is, you know, the Pam's introduction email. So you can always view that. You can see it went out like a minute ago, so it went out immediately when we turned on the campaign. If you want to view it just to make sure it's like you want it, said, "Hi there, Sally. I wanted to introduce myself." And there you go. And then it has my email signature automatically put in there. So I think this is really where KB Core the value is coming from, because say you're at 6 o'clock at night, you're eating dinner, and you have this campaign set to automatically go off your new leads. Then they're automatically getting your information, and you're not lifting a finger, you know. So that's really the value in this to me. So I definitely recommend setting that up. Then again, I'm happy to set up because I pretty much have all of your bios. So if you want me to set up a custom campaign for you, I can do that as well. Super easy, straightforward. But yeah, any questions on campaigns and the basics of it? It's my favorite part of KB Core. Yeah. So that's what I mean, I know we're kind of flying through this, but you know, the first time doing it, you know, just we can sit down together and do it. Also recommend putting yourself in as a test contact. Like I'll show you guys my test contact in here that I've sent 1,000,001 things to. Same thing, I put my personal email in here as if I was a client myself. So if you haven't done this yet, I recommend setting up a test contact for yourself. This is my personal email. So I've sent myself like test email to 1, test email 2, just to kind of experiment. I've set myself up on search alerts, so that way you can see exactly what the client's seeing from their end. But pretty straightforward, like I showed you. You know, you can, when you set up an alert, you can log into the website here by clicking on see the results, and you can kind of see what they see on their end. It's pretty much like the company website, except it's going to have your information on it. It's directly related to you. So yeah, so what were we going to do? Add a picture to your email, Pam? Okay. So yeah, we're going to jump over to the email templates again and kind of go through how to customize your emails to look a little bit prettier. Okay, so we're gonna jump back over to the templates one more time and look at Pam's intro. You gotta make sure it's on the email tab there, so the email ones pull up. And once you start typing it in, it will pull up there for you. When you hit on edit, it will pull up. So if I hit advanced email editor, it will clear all this, which is fine. We won't save it. But if you do advanced editor, that will pull up a lot, like a newsletter design, which looks really nice. So we'll go ahead and jump over there and I'll show you guys kind of how to do that. Let me actually copy this. We'll put it in there. So if we do advanced email editor, it's just a nicer looking template. It's still going to be, you can put text in there, images and videos. It's still an email. It's just going to be kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever used kind of a professional like mail, what's it called, Mail Monkey or something. We have Constant Contact, but you can add text in here, images. So super straightforward. Say you want text to be the beginning of the email. You would need to click and drag your text. And say you wanted an image to be right below that, we put an image. So we just copied what we had in the text before. So we're just going to highlight this. I'm just going to paste what I had in there. And it's really small, but we can make it bigger. Let's copy this. And you can change the font, make it look a little bit prettier here. So they don't have a whole lot of different fonts, but they have a couple different options for you. So Helvetica is kind of like the Weichert go-to, so that's a good one. Okay, try to get that to go away. Okay, so same with when we put the email template here, click off that. So when we put the image field here, that dropped it right below the text. Same thing, you can even add a button that links to a certain website, which is kind of cool. But for this case, we will do the image, so we put the image in there. You do have to click and drag your image. So say the image was on my file here, so I have Pam's information. I'm going to minimize this and kind of click and drag that over. A lot easier with a monitor. But say we wanted to put her headshot right there, we're going to click and drag it. So what that's going to do, that adds Pam's nice bio here, and we can make it look prettier by kind of spacing it out. And then it has her picture right beneath it, so that's kind of cool. I know, yeah, we'll make it, see if we can make it bigger or smaller. Okay, once you click on it, it will show up like size, so let's see. There we go. So you just need to click on the picture, and then it gives you an option. You can set change the width, the height. You can align it. If you want to do it left aligned, middle aligned, right aligned. So yeah, we can make it look really nice here. So yeah, good question. So my email signature, I have our office logo and I have like my picture, that way people can see my face. So I recommend with emails just always having, if we scroll down here, your email signature on. Okay, that is a difference between the advanced email editor though and the basic. It doesn't have that little toggle button that says include email signature. So what you'll want to do is go back to content, go to the bottom, add another text field right below there, and then you want to highlight that, and then you want to put a merge tag and just put your agent signature. So what that'll do, that'll just paste your agent signature there. So, and we'll go back, we'll visit the agent signature again. That way I can show you guys if you want to put like social media links and stuff like that. It's kind of cool to have that in there. So yeah, does that make sense overall? I know it's like lots of, that's what I mean, honestly, that's how I learned how to do this. I mean, I watched the training videos and stuff, but I just got in here and played around with it. And honestly, don't be afraid about messing something up, because you really can't screw it up unless, you know, you're sending this to a bunch of different people and you're not really sure what you have in there. But we can review it before you start setting up campaigns, just to make sure it's the way you want it. And like I said, set yourself up on a test contact to make sure, you know, you're setting yourself up on campaigns and you can kind of see what you're sending out to other people. Yeah, that's what I recommend. Yeah, don't add that. And always, Yeah, and I recommend just starting out until you get more comfortable with the ideology of new leads and kind of different categories. I recommend bypassing the start trigger on the campaigns. That way, you know, if you're putting somebody in as a new lead, they're not automatically getting assigned to this campaign unless you want them to. So just always bypass the start trigger. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and update this template. And I'm gonna update template. And I'm gonna do to my test email, and I'm gonna pull up my test email here too. So I know it's awful crowded, way more crowded than my work email is, but I'm gonna go back to my Smart CRM, and I'm actually gonna do my test contact to show you guys what this email will look like on a client's perspective. Whoops. So Allison Test has my personal email, and say I don't want to do a campaign or anything, I just want to send the email just to see what it looks like. You can do that as well once you set up templates. You can just send a template via send email, send text, or you can do it in a campaign where it sends for you. But I always test them out just by going to the template in here, search for it, Pam's intro, and we can see it's going to pull up as an advanced email editor here. Nice and pretty. It's in there the way we want it. And it's kind of, me and Pam are kind of merged here with your information and my signature, but just for like training's sake, we're doing this. So sorry, did you have a question? No. So the subject and everything will be populated for you. If you're, you know, creating this from scratch, then you would need to do another subject and make sure everything's filled out. Once you're happy with it, you can just hit send. And I'm going to pull up another tab. Let me see if I can hide this, get rid of it. Okay, let's try this. Okay, we're gonna pull up another tab and I'm gonna pull up my personal email. I'll show you guys what it will look like because I just sent it here to my test contact. Swap, flip-flop here, my personal one. And most of my personal is promotional stuff, so that's why I use it. It's a good test email. Okay. Like I said, testing it out really is the best way to see, like, okay, what am I sending to people, you know? So once that pulls up, I can see that I've got an email from Allison Rains reaching out with information for you. And it automatically pulled in my test contact's name and Pam's bio. It has Pam's picture and then the email signature. So you can obviously make this the way you want it to look, but that's kind of essentially how you put the information in there. And then all this is kind of put together for you.
You probably don't need to add a picture.
Have it in your signature. Yeah, or you could add it at the top. That way people see your picture right away, especially, you know, teachers that you've worked with or people in your sphere, like, Pam, I know that name, but, you know, they know your face or something. So it might be a good idea to put your picture at the top. So, yeah, that would just be editing the template. And if you wanted to edit that for good, you would just go back to the templates. But if you wanted to edit it in an email, you could just do same thing, search for that template. Now this will be like per email, but if you wanted to edit it permanently, just go back to Smart Campaigns. So all we would do is you got to hit the click and drag, and that pull, if you click your mouse and pull it up to the top, you gotta look for that, drag it here, it just pulls just straight up to the top. So yeah, once you start doing this, you'll be like, oh, it's so easy. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. I know don't want to keep you guys too long, but I'll jump back over to the email signature and show you kind of the gist of how to set that up if you haven't, and make sure that's the way you want it. So same thing, just go to my profile under your email drop down there, and you'll want to go to edit. So here's all your information. Keep in mind that main picture is what's going to show up on your website. So whatever picture you want on your website, make sure that one's there. So your signature. So this is where you can edit your signature at any time. What I did here is I connected pictures with links. So I can do that for you guys as well if you want to kind of link your Facebook and Instagram accounts. Add a picture. You just have to hit this little insert edit image and then hit upload to add one. So if it's on your computer, same thing, you just browse for an image. We'll just change this to Pam just for the heck of it. And it actually gives like a link, which is interesting. Once you do that, it's going to be ginormous. So you have to minimize it by going to the corners, clicking, dragging until you get it to the size that you want. So me and Pam are side by side there. But yeah, that's pretty much how you add a picture. So just click the little photo and upload. Also, if you have like Drive or something where you can do a link for photos, you can do it that way too. Yeah, just putting in, you know, if you want to do a logo picture, same thing, you can upload the logos. I put a link here to the office address, I believe. Let me double check this. Well, it's not on this one, it's in my email signature on my other email, but you can link this to like a Google Maps link to the office, which is kind of cool, which if people were to click on your email signature on the office, they would automatically be directed to Google Maps, or they could get directions to the office. So that is pretty convenient. Yeah, so like I said, I know this is the setting up part of it is going to be the most time consuming, so I'm happy to help y'all with getting your profile set up the way you want. I think that is the most important part before you really get going with KV Core, because there's so many features on here that you can take advantage of. But like I said, I think the most valuable of the system is really taking advantage of the automation that it has for you, because that's going to be where people are going to be receiving stuff from you, and you don't even have to worry about trying pretty much. So, but you do have to put in the time and effort to set up your profile, set up your templates and your campaigns. But what I'll do, I didn't have time to do it this morning, but just like that new campaign that we set up on a company level, I'll customize that a little bit more. That way all you guys have to do is just go in and clone it and then input your info, which we can work on that too, Shaniqua. Yeah, that is pretty much my spill today. So anybody have anything? Let me see. Amy joined us today, so that was good. Nobody else on Zoom. Let's see, let me see if I can pull this up a little bit bigger. Here you are. Okay, but yeah, I guess that's it. If you guys don't have anything else, thank you for staying with me. All right, bye, Amy.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for it.